All right, this video is for those of you who are using Lightroom on a PC or Mac on how to download and get all your photos into Lightroom, edit them, and turn them in for an assignment. So if you're using your phone to take pictures, so you're using the Lightroom app on your phone, your photos will just automatically show up in Lightroom. It'll take them a minute to sync up. Check this top right-hand corner. You can click on this cloud right here and just make sure everything is synced and backed up. If it's not, you might still have some photos that are waiting to sync up from your phone. If you are using a memory card to take your pictures, you'll just put your memory card into your computer using a card reader. You'll open up Lightroom and you'll come and click on this plus sign in the top left-hand corner. And if your card's already in there, then you'll have the choice to do D drive, camera, or card reader. It might not be D drive. You just choose whatever's there. You can see there's some photos on here that I've already imported, so it's not going to let me import those because those are already in Lightroom. Let's see if we can find some that haven't been imported already. So here are some. You just need to select the photos you'd like to import. You can do that by just clicking on them, clicking on this little box right here to select them. You can also click on the first one you'd like to import, hold down Shift, and click on the last one you'd like to import. You can see that put white boxes around all of them. And you just need to click on this little white checkbox, and that will check all of those. So it's going to add 15 photos. But before you do that, come up here to Add to Album. And we're going to put these into an album before we do that. So I'm going to click on this box. You won't have as many as I do because you're probably new to Lightroom. And I'm going to click on New. And we are going to give this the album name. Sorry, we're going to give this album name the name of the assignment. So whatever the assignment is that you are working on is what you are going to call this album. So I'm just going to call this the name of the assignment, and I got to put a 1 because that assignment already exists. So I'm going to create that album, and you can see these photos are now going to go into an album called the name of the assignment. Super important you do this step. You can do this after you import, but it's way easier to do it if you do it before you import. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add 15 Photos. That is going to import those photos in for me. We don't need to watch this process, though. All right, so Lightroom by default shows me the photos in the album that I just imported, so I can see these 15 photos that I just added are here. Over here on my left-hand side, the reason why is because it's showing me, you can see what selected is recently added just now, 15 photos. Well, I actually want to just go to the album. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to find name of the assignment. And I'm actually going to choose this one. This is the one I made for a different period, but it's the same idea. This is the assignment we're doing in photo 1-2 right now. And we need to go through and we need to pick the photos we want to turn in. For this assignment, there are 5 photos that are due. So I'm going to go through and say, this is one I want to turn in. And I could come and click on this 5th star right here to give it 5 stars. You can see it already had it because I've already done this on a different version of Lightroom. But you can see all of those changes sync up. If I don't want to do this one, I'll press 0 to give it 0 stars. And maybe I'll click on this one instead and give it 5 stars. Basically, you need to go through and take the photos you want to submit for this assignment and give them 5 stars so that you end up having a total of 5 photos with 5 stars. And if you do realize you made a mistake and you're like, oh, I don't want to give this one 5 stars. I wanted to give this one 5 stars. You can see this one has 0. This one has 5. Again, you can just click on the number 0 and that will take away those stars. And then you click on this one and you click on the number 5 and that adds 5 stars. So I'm going to go through and give 5 stars to all the photos I want to turn in. And then once I've done that, I can come up here to the top of my screen and I can click on this filter button right here. That's going to pop up and I'm going to click on the 5th star so that it only shows me these 5 photos that have 5 stars. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Now I'm going to start with this one and we're going to start editing these bad boys. And we're only going to do a few of them. Or a few of these edits. So let's come up here and click on this first dude right here. This is the main edit button. And right off the bat, the first thing we're going to do is just press auto. And we're going to let Lightroom try and do its best job of editing this photo. And that's not bad. I don't mind it, but I'm definitely going to make some changes to fix it. The next thing we're going to do is change the profile. By default, it's set to color. Let's click on this. And you can see here's a few that I've gone in and said, I like these ones, but I actually want to browse all profiles. You can also click on this button right here to browse all profiles. And again, here are my favorites, but here are the ones that I really want to play with. There's some here under basic, not really anything. It's just color or black and white. So let's go into these artistic, and these are like kind of like Instagram filters. And the cool thing about these is if you're like, I like this one, but it's a little too much. Well, you can just drag this slider down and lower the intensity of that adjustment, or you can just not choose it at all. Whatever you want to do, whatever one you end up clicking on will be the one you selected. So even though I clicked on this and made changes, if I come and click on this one, it's now unselected that one and it's not adding that effect anymore. You got a bunch here under black and white and modern and vintage. You can use these or not use them. I do want this one to be black and white, and I think I like black and white 1 the best on this one. So I'm going to select that one, and then I'm just going to press back. At this point, we're going to come down here now, and we're going to adjust the light settings. So we're going to start with exposure, and this is obviously going to make the overall photo brighter or darker. And guys, there's no magic settings here. I think the secret to this is to just go back and forth and just kind of go slow and stop when you think it looks good. Contrast the same way. This is going to make our photo more contrasty, more punchy. You can see the dark parts of the photo got darker and the bright parts got brighter. Or this is going to lower the contrast and make everything look a little bit flatter. You decide where you like this. You can just move this back and forth and just stop when you see, that looks pretty good. Same with highlights. Highlights makes the parts of the photo that are bright but not super bright, it makes them brighter or darker. So this adjusts that part of the photo. Shadows does the same thing. The parts of the photo that are dark but not real dark, it will make them darker. Whites is the brightest parts of the photo, makes them brighter or darker, and blacks is the darkest parts of the photo. So play around with these sliders. I cannot tell you what to put. You just literally got to go back and forth until you see it where you like it. And you might have to do it a couple of times to get there. Let me switch to a different photo. I'll switch to this beautiful photo. And again, I'll go to auto. I'll choose a profile. I'll adjust the exposure and contrast and all of those things. And I'm going to do color on this one because there is no color in this photo because it's black and white. We'll come to this photo, and I typically just mess with the vibrance. Vibrance takes things that are very colorful and it makes them more colorful. So it's not going to change skin tone, which is awesome because we don't want really to increase the color of the skin tone. But you can see how like the blue in my eyes and the blue in my shirt really popped when I increased the vibrance, but my skin color didn't really change. You can see if I do saturation, watch my face as I crank that up. See how I got the blues really cool, but my face turned orange. And that is not what we want. We definitely don't want that. And that's why I like changing vibrance rather than saturation, because I feel like vibrance gives us a better overall adjustment. So you need to go through and make these changes for every single photo. Click on auto, choose a profile. If you want, you don't have to. Adjust your light settings, your exposure and your contrast, and then adjust your color, at least your vibrance, maybe add some saturation. It's up to you. And go through and do that on all 5 of your pictures. Once you have done that, you are ready to turn them in. To do that, what we're going to do is select these 5 photos by clicking on the first one, holding down Shift, and clicking on the last one. You can see that put the white box around all 5 of my pictures. Once we have all 5 of them selected, you'll come up here to this Share or Export button right here in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You'll click on that, and we're going to choose Get a Link right here. We're going to get a link. It's going to create a link for you. We need to make a couple of changes here before we can submit this thing. So we'll just wait for this to load up. Okay, so a couple of things we got to check on here. One, make sure this is on Anyone Can View. If this is on invite only, I will not be able to see your photos, and that's bad business right there. So make sure that's on Anyone Can View. And then I want you to come and click on Settings, and I want you to make sure Show Metadata is turned on. You guys, I will not grade your photos if this is not turned on, so please make sure that's turned on. And then you can also turn on Allow Comments and Likes, and that way I can like or comment on your photos. So that's basically it. Make sure that Show Metadata is turned on Allow Comments and Likes, and make sure Anyone Can View is turned on. At this point, you're just going to copy the link by clicking right here on Copy. And you can click on Done, and you can actually close Lightroom. We're done with that. Now all we got to do is submit this on Schoology. Let me show you how to do that. All right, so all we need to do now is find the assignment in Schoology that we want to submit. Click on this Submit Assignment button right here in the right-hand corner. The assignment submission option will load up for us here, and you're going to click on Create right here, and you're just going to paste that link right in there. And probably a good idea to leave me a little note that says, I am turning in my 5 photos. They have all been edited and are ready to be graded. Holy cow, that was a lot of spelling mistakes, but I was trying to tap fast. Then you would just click on submit and you would be done. Nice job.